The Pittsburgh Steelers selecting left tackle Broderick Jones in the first round of this year's NFL draft was the perfect pick for the Steelers, and I'll tell you why I believe he's the franchise guy and will be a beast for the Steelers for a decade plus. So, Broderick Jones. By now, you all know the Steelers trade up in the first round to select him in this year's draft, and by now, you probably all heard many people say how good of a trade it was, and him replacing Dan Moore Jr., so it makes it even better. But some of you might not even know much about him and what he brings to the table and the top reason to buy in with him coming to the Steelers. So, with that being said, Broderick Jones, he stands at 6'5", he weighs 311 pounds, his arm length is 34 and 3/4 inches, and his hand size is 10 and 5/8 inches. And besides being a huge left tackle, he's also very athletic. His 40-yard dash time at the NFL Combine was 4.97 seconds, and you always like an offensive lineman being under 5 seconds. That just shows that he's athletic. So, his vertical jump was 30 inches, and his broad jump was 9 inches. Broderick Jones, he was a Georgia Bulldog, and he was a starting left tackle for them for back-to-back national championships. So, he's bringing a winning mentality to the Steelers, and already a championship pedigree and a winning mindset. So, like I said, Broderick Jones, you all seen how big of a guy he is based off those statistics, standing at 6'5", 311 pounds, but he's also very athletic as well. You don't see much offensive linemen being able to play basketball at a very high level. Just go look up Broderick Jones' basketball highlights, and you see many times of him getting alley-oop dunks and him just being very athletic on the basketball court. Even though basketball doesn't really translate to football, it just shows you how athletic he is and what the Steelers are getting in a franchise guy. So, like I said, Jones is incredibly athletic for an offensive lineman, and he reportedly also hits 19 miles per hour on the GPS tracker in his offseason workouts. Offensive linemen aren't supposed to be hitting 19 miles per hour when they run, trust me, but Broderick Jones is a physical and athletic specimen. So, his athleticism shows most when he's a lead or pulling blocker in space, as he hunts down second and third level defenders. When in space, some offensive linemen get in trouble, but with Broderick Jones, he's able to use his athleticism to stay on balance and not really fall over and meet the defender with contact and force. So, he's good in space, and also he's very athletic in lateral agility. It's very impressive because Jones can mirror rushers well to protect inside and both outside paths to the quarterback. When the edge rusher tries going around an athletic tackle, it's really hard for them because most left tackles, sometimes they have trouble reaching the edge and being able to let defenders go right by them because they're not fast enough off the line. But because Jones is athletic and he's a very big guy, he's able to reach that edge with speed, and he gets off the snap really well. So he's able to really protect the quarterback. And it shows because in his 400 plus pass blocking attempts, he allowed 0 sacks apparently in college, and his pre-snap penalties was 0 or 1. I forget, it's either 1 or 0. So he's very good in pass blocking, allowing 0 sacks, but he also doesn't get penalties like Dan Moore Jr. did for the Steelers this season. So he's very athletic, but he's also very a smart player as well. He's athletic enough to use his vertical and diagonal sets in pass protection, meaning that he's able to jump up at you off the snap, or he's able to go backwards. So either way, he's very explosive with his first step and being a good decision maker. So the only thing that really concerns you about Jones at the next level is his limited experience. He only has 19 starts at the college level, and sometimes he may be over aggressive, and he's very sometimes inconsistent with his techniques because of his lack of experience. But that also means that he's really good as well, and he's a good project for the Steelers. Not only could he come in and replace Dan Moore Jr., but that means he also has a lot of upside, because if you're seeing his limited experience in college and he's a first round pick with only 19 starts, just imagine how much more he could get better with Pat Meyer teaching him stuff for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense line. Getting the development from an NFL team to add to your game and only being a starter for 19 games is huge. That means you have so much more space to grow as a player, And because he has a finisher mentality, it's great as well. Like I said, the top reasons to buy in was he's athletic and his upside, but he also has the finisher mentality. Because you see athletic guys, sometimes they're only good at kind of pass protection and they're not really good at run blocking. But with Jones, you see his tape, the run blocking aspect of his game is really good as well. He's not afraid to see contact and he plays through the whistle. Yes, he plays through the whistle. You might think sometimes that would bring a flag, but no, he doesn't play through the whistle to get a flag. He plays through the whistle and brings the player to the ground. He's very good at pancake blocks and bringing the defender to the ground, and you like seeing that with a left tackle who's athletic. Like I said, the only thing is though, sometimes he's inconsistent and his limited experience, 19 starts. So now that you know much more about who Broderick Jones is and what he brings to the table for the Steelers, let me just tell you why I believe this was a great trade for the Steelers and the perfect pick for them. Like I said, lean all the way up to the draft. There's really only 2 left tackles in this year's NFL draft who 100% could be starters right away and really top tier guys. Yes, there might be guys who really you didn't really expect to break out, but at the top of the draft, there's really only 2 guys, Paris Johnson and Broderick Jones, meaning that Paris Johnson went early to the Arizona Cardinals, leaving Broderick Jones. And if the Steelers did not select and trade up to pick number 14 for Broderick Jones, the Jets would have selected him at 15, meaning that the Steelers would have missed out on a left tackle and probably offensive tackle in general until later in the rounds. And later in the rounds, that's really more of a project guy, a guy you have to work with that might not even pan out. So the Steelers getting Broderick Jones early, it only set the table for them to select cornerback in whichever position they needed later. Yes, Christian Gonzalez was on the table, but the Steelers obviously felt that the cornerback depth was more deeper in this year's NFL draft than offense tackle. And the Steelers jumping up Jets to do so was a good idea. So the Steelers got a franchise guy at left tackle, but not only that. The reason why it was also a good pick is because Dan Moore Jr., his first 2 years in the NFL, it really didn't work out too good. He allows too much sacks. He allows too much pressures on the quarterback, and he just gets too many penalties for the Steelers to really like what he brings to the table. He really, even though sometimes he plays good, he kind of sets them back with his penalties, meaning that the Steelers are in a hole that Kenny Pickett and the Steelers offense has to dig out. And it's very hard for a rookie quarterback, especially last season, to dig a team out of penalties. But the Steelers were one of the highest penalized offense lineman group, and it was really only Dan Moore Jr. and Kevin Dotson doing the penalties. So, with getting a guy who had 0 penalties in college and a guy who allowed 0 sacks last season, the Steelers are getting a guy who has franchise potential upside for the Steelers and could be a beast for many years to come. So, with that being said, let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about the Broderick Jones being the selection for the Steelers at pick number 17? Do you like it? Do you believe he could be the franchise guy? Or do you believe they should have went with a different position or a different player? And if you did think that, let me know what that position and what that player is, of who you would rather the Steelers have traded up for or just stand still and selected. Let me know down in the comments below. And overall, do you like this NFL draft for the Steelers and the first for Omar Khan as general manager? So let me know down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well if you like serious content, analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for this channel as well so you get notified whenever I post next year's video. So I've been covering all of free agency. I covered it all. I covered every pick for the Steelers in the draft. I even covered the undrafted free agents the Steelers signed after the draft. I covered everything, and leading up to training camp, just know I'm on it. Every news, every rumor that comes out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm on it. And also, this week, I'm going to be covering more of the Pittsburgh Steelers draft selections, meaning this is the first one with Broderick Jones coverage, but now the second round pick, third round pick, all the way to the 7th round, I'm going to make a video like this, kind of going over what that person could bring to the Steelers organization, because some of you might not know what they bring to the table and the top reasons to buy in with them being the pick for the Steelers. So in the coming week, the second round selection of Keanu Benton and Darnell Washington and all their other selections, just know I'm making a video on them. So stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.